Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's Spur video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's Spur video day 10. I'm going to take us to Christmas Day. Wow, 25th of December, can you believe that? And we'll be able to extend out beyond that. We extended GFS and ECM ensembles over around a couple of weeks. We're going to have a look at the CFS-E2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Gets us well into January. I shall get on that for you in a moment. Just say about the first video release date was our 7 AM upload. We've also released USA Forecast, and we'll have the latest Christmas update. I think that's update number 20 coming up for you tonight. So we'll go through all of the data for Christmas again tonight as we count down ever further to the big day. Talking to the countdown, we've only got to put on 20 subscribers now to get to 12.9k. So we are very, very close. 12,900 subscribers. Please give us a sub. Tell friends, family, and everybody else who subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. When we get to 12.9k, we will open up the draw for our 13k giveaway. We're going to give away a £30 Amazon voucher. There it is. I'm going to give that away for 13k, so £13 for 13k, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And when we put on the next 20 subscribers, get to 12.9k, then we'll start taking everybody's names and whatnot ready for that draw when we hit 13,000 subscribers. Big old number, that. Thank you so much, everybody, for getting us this close to 13k, but still got a little bit more work to do. So please give us a sub, tell friends and family to subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody. For doing that, right, okay, let's start off then having a look at central in temperature. So I should just turn off the webcam, why not? There we go. And the CT is continuing to rise. We're standing now at 6.1, which is 1.2 degrees above average. That's provisional to the 14th of December. So obviously that's going to be coming out above average for the first half of the month. Not excessively so, but it will be like a degree or so above average for the, for the first half of the month. That's after a relatively cool first week as well, so it's just going to show how warm this second week of the month has been. I don't think it'll get much higher than that. It might get a little bit more, maybe to around 6.5. And then I think it'll start to fall away probably through the weekend and into next week as we start to generate cooler days and potentially colder nights as well under the high pressure. Excuse me. These are GFS upper air temperature. Wouldn't be a video about a cough, would it? These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. We're at Norwich today. Now, if we're going to get the wind into the east over Christmas, we're going to bring in some east winds. Norwich will be one of the first places that feels it. So I thought we'd have a look at Norwich today. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Norwich. We're starting off, of course, more than average at the moment, significantly above average upper air temperatures right now. They're going to drop as we move into next week, going a little bit below average as we go into the run-up to Christmas. And then overall, it looks like the GFS ensembles are above average now through Christmas week and up towards the new year. There are some very cold ensemble members, probably not as many of them as there were yesterday for Christmas, although there are a few just here, including today's 6Z operational run. You'll see that in a moment. There's a few more just there, perhaps between Christmas and New Year. The ensemble means the white line is going below average, so clearly, most of the ensemble members are going cold to some degree at some point around the Christmas period, but that's not quite as clear-cut in the GFS ensembles as it was looking yesterday. Conversely, there aren't that many mild options now within the GFS ensembles either, until very late on where there are a few that are really beginning to take off. The change is really with precipitation, so it's going to be loads of dry weather, of course, up to the 23rd of December, completely dry, actually. And then after that, we do see more in way of precipitation spikes period over Christmas, between Christmas and the New Year. So that is the change. The Atlantic looks like it's going to start throwing up more energy. And that's creating complications. That might mean that the Atlantic just rolls in and we go mild wet for Christmas and beyond. Of course, if the cold air proves to be stubborn, and as we begin to bring the energy in, from off the Atlantic. That also raises the chance of some snow, potentially. So it could be like a do or die this as we get into Christmas. It could either go horribly wrong and we finish up, really quite wet and relatively mild, or we might finish up actually getting some snow over Christmas, and wouldn't that be a turn up for the book? The sea level pressure ensembles look like that, so still peaking at around 1040 millibars here in the next few days with pressure, but there is a definite drop in pressure that's being picked up on now within the GFS ensembles. Ensemble means going down to around 1010 millibars, but some of these ensemble members are actually going under 1000 millibars, so proper low pressure with quite a few of those around the Christmas period. That is the complication, I think, that we're beginning to see with this colder outbreak. Now have a look at snow row. Let's have a look at that. So that's quite interesting. Actually, although it's not clear cut to be cold over Christmas, we have actually increased the snow row from yesterday. So there is more chance of snow from Christmas Eve onwards through the Christmas week. There is a greater chance of snow today than there was yesterday, but there is also a greater chance that this might go horribly wrong. So it is going to be like a bit of a white knuckle ride, I think, this, and we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. That's how Snow Row looks for London as well. So that's crept up a little bit also. Not as much as Norwich. That has crept up a little bit also. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'll show you the model data in a moment. Temperature anomalies from the 15th, 23rd of December coming out slightly above average, although that is beginning to reduce now. And precipitation anomalies from the 15th, 23rd of December very substantially and significantly drier than average. Most areas are going to have no measurable precipitation whatsoever. The latest wind flow map from earth-nullschool.net shows that we are continuing to bring in a very mild west or southwest wind with high pressure sitting somewhere around northern France and into the Channel. Right, so let's start going through the all-important chart data there, which is what you're waiting for, I think. This is how the UK Met Euro is looking for Saturday under a big 1040 millibar area of high pressure. We are high and dry into the weekend, and there will be an increase in risk of frost and fog as the cloud thins away. Into the early part of next week, the high pressure remains sat over top of the country as well. Then it begins to ridge northwards as we move into the middle of next week. That's as far as we get to with the UK Met Euro, getting us to the 22nd of December. And again, we're under this ridge of high pressure. The ridge is trying to go north. Where does that ridge go for Christmas? That's going to be the question. What happens with that ridge? Does it go to Scandinavia? Does it go to Greenland? Does it collapse? Does low pressure coming off the Atlantic? It's all to play for at that point, because we can't go any further than that, and at that point we are under that ridge of high pressure, which is ridging northwards, or under an area of high pressure that is ridging northwards, I should say. Get the terminology right, Gav. Right, now we go through the GFS output. Now you're going to see some very interesting charts here. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking. Again, high pressure dominates on Saturday at 1040 millibars. That area of high pressure is still dominating on Sunday too, and on Monday it's ridging northwards, so the high pressure is ridging northwards. So as high pressure ridges northwards, we will start to get things colder under that area of high pressure and an increased risk of frost and fog through the early part of next week. That's Wednesday next week. Week today, the high pressure is centering now around Greenland and Iceland. Got very cold air into northeastern Europe. The ridge is still down through the country. And again, frost and fog is suggested, but we look poised really just before Christmas there to turn things, really quite calm. The ridge starts to weaken on Thursday. This is Thursday, 21st December, Christmas Eve. The ridge is weakening across the country. Got low pressure beginning to strengthen in the Atlantic and a very deep cold pool sitting over northern Europe. What happens? Well, this is Christmas Eve. Again, high pressure ridging through the country but weakening. Cold air is poised just to our east. Mild air looks like it's about to try and come in off the Atlantic. And that's how it looks as we get to midnight on Christmas Day. Now, that looks very, very interesting. So we've got high pressure then over Scandinavia with a deep cold pool. We've got low pressure trying to come in from off the Atlantic. Winds are turning into a cold southeasterly. There's the upper air temperature. Got the -5 ice firm onto the east coast, but mild across Ireland and southwest England with the 0 ice firm. So through Christmas Day, a proper old battle starts to take place between that high pressure to the northeast, low pressure to the southwest. Winds are coming in from an increasingly cold, and that'll probably be quite a bitterly cold, southeasterly wind on Christmas Day. Could feed some snow showers onto the east coast. Again, you see how that -5 ice firm is infiltrating from the east. So Christmas Day turns colder, and there's probably a risk of snow showers on the east coast. Of course, with low pressure down to the southwest, that's going to give precipitation. That will be rain in the southwest. So if that starts to move into that cold air, you know, you could get a snow event from that on Christmas Day. How exciting would that be? What actually happens on this GFS run is that the low pressure slips to our south, goes into the Bay of Biscay, and we pull in a very cold, a bitterly cold easterly wind on Christmas night. So this is Christmas night, midnight, sort of Christmas Day, Boxing Day, bringing the -10 ice firm in from the east. That would see snow showers increasingly in the east and probably pushing their way inland, which sets us up for a very cold Boxing Day with high pressure centred over Iceland, low pressure over France, and winds in from the east. These are absolute classic charts. Like, you know, 10 days before Christmas, we're seeing these charts. It's very, very rare to see this. But this is a very cold Christmas now that's being picked up on here by the GFS midnight run, which brings lots of snow showers probably in, particularly across England and Wales, actually, and in the south and east in particular. With those easy winds, -10 ice firm again swept through the country, so that looks very cold and wintry. That's midday on the 27th of December. Also, some of the disturbances developing in the North Sea events. That could bring some more general snow in from the east, maybe, but of course that's a very, very long way off, so I think we have to stay cautious about that. Upper air temperatures still looking cold, and we keep wind in from the east end between Christmas and the New Year. That's 28th of December. Still looking very cold. -10 ice firming still through the country. Really might be further potential for snow. Towards the end of the GFS midnight run, that high pressure then pulls out to our west. We stay very cold, but it probably change the distribution of the showers, and Scotland perhaps comes in more into the firing line with some snow showers then by the time you get through towards the New Year. And then by New Year's Eve itself, which is as far as we get to with the GFS midnight run, we possibly start to infiltrate something a little bit less cold or slightly milder around the top of the height. I'm going to go back to the situation around Christmas Day. So there it is. Now, the thing with this is that, as I said, this is like a do or die situation. So we could finish up very cold with this, with winds maintained from the east, but with the low pressure in the Atlantic, if that starts to roll in, then what we actually finish up with is a mild and wet Christmas Day, away from maybe Scotland and North East England, where there would be a great chance of something wintry happening because you're closer to the cold air over Scandinavia there. But, you know, it's one of those that really is on a knife edge. And when we did winter forecast, we said this Christmas was going to be like 50-50 between mild and cold. And that is absolute on a knife edge. You know, that sort of scenario that we see there really is 50-50 between whether we maintain the cold or we just roll in the Atlantic. Let's see what the 6 there is doing. High pressure over country again on Saturday at 1,014 millibars. That high pressure reaching northwards as we go through into next week, trying to become a northern blocking feature. Cold air is plunging southwards into Scandinavia. The reef beginning to weaken as we go into the middle and second half next week. So low pressure starts to move in North Atlantic. This is the danger, this is the risk that we start to bring in low pressure from the Atlantic, and you know, we just bring in mild air from off the Atlantic Ocean. We never get the cold air in, and that's looking like what's beginning to happen actually there on the 23rd of December. Look at the upper air temperature. We never get the cold air in. We just have mild air sitting over the top of the country then. However, that low pressure then sort of slips away to the south and sort of dies a death on Christmas Eve as pressure rises again, probably due to the very intense cold pool that is sitting over northern Europe by that point. Look at the upper air temperatures for Christmas Eve. Much of Scandinavia and Northern Europe, extremely cold air there, and the Atlantic, you know, will have a job to get rid of that, to push into it. So actually what happens is that we begin to go colder on Christmas Eve, the -5 ice start to come back into northern and eastern parts of Scotland. And then we go into Christmas Day, and again we've got this scenario where we are very poised, you know, between the high pressure and the cold air, the block of cold air essentially across northern Europe, and the mild air trying to come in from off the Atlantic Ocean. That's how the upper air temperatures look. So cold in the east and the northeast, relatively mild through Ireland, Wales and southwest England. What happens on this 6Z run, we find that the low pressure begins to go on a northwest southeast trajectory. So the low pressure becoming like a slider low, and instead of going in that direction, which is the normal way that low pressure would go, of course, west to east, what actually happens is that low pressure begins to slide, starts to go in that direction. As it slides into France, that begins to allow colder air to push in from the east. So the 6Z is also in line with the midnight run, with colder air starting to move in from the east. There is precipitation associated with that, so that's rain in the southwest on the leading edge, particularly as the cold air starts to dig in from the east. Again, you would not rule out the chance of snow. And bear in mind, this is Christmas Day, everyone. We are talking about a realistic possibility, no more than that, realistic possibility of snow on Christmas Day. Not just like little snow throws, but actually proper snow on Christmas Day is a possibility here. Probably won't come off, but, you know, it's quite unusual, to say the least. So we go through to Boxing Day. That low pressure then slides into France. Winds go into the east. In comes the bitterly cold air from the east with a -10. So as I said, that will feed in snow showers from the east on those east winds. Again, they'll be particularly affecting southern eastern areas, and, you know, really cold easterly sets in for what will be a memorably cold Boxing Day there with the -10 as iceberg through the country. That's low pressure and slips away into the Mediterranean. We get high pressure reaching in behind it within cold air, of course, those really cold and frosty after Christmas. Then the Atlantic starts trying to move in between Christmas and New Year. That could be another sort of slow event as low pressure is trying to come in from off the Atlantic, and eventually the Atlantic wins the battle and we go milder by New Year's Eve. We bring up more of a southerly wind, although notice the Scandinavian high is still in business. It's not gone, still there over Scandinavia. Winds are in from the south here, and that's a little bit more warm air advection probably starting to promote this ridge again over Scandinavia. So maybe into the new year we would go off and running into another easterly. But the 6Z does get milder by New Year's Eve. Should have a look at the precipitation forecast based on the midnight GFS run from the Weather Outlook. Let's do that. Shall we see what the snow potential with that was? So this is Christmas Day. We've got heavy rain down in the far southwest. We've got some wintry showers beginning to appear in the east. And as we go through Christmas Day, here we go. We've got wintry showers coming onto the east coast, snow showers there, outbreaks of rain down in the extreme southwestern tip of the country. And then into Christmas night, those snow showers start to get more widespread in the east, and the suggestion is that they are beginning to push inland on those strengthening easterly winds going into Boxing Day. Again, the suggestion is there's more wintry showers, snow showers across the eastern parts of the country. Not going overboard with the snow, it's extended range, you know, so it won't pick up on light snow showers, convective snow from off the North Sea until much closer to the time frame. But it's definitely a suggestion that there is snow around on both Christmas Day and also Boxing Day there on the midnight GFS run. And it actually starts getting increasingly snowy beyond Christmas with plenty of snow possibilities coming and going. So that looks quite wintry, doesn't it, with the midnight GFS run. Let's go backwards and we'll have a look at the precipitation forecast based on the 6Z. So I want to get ourselves to 23rd December. There we go. And we'll go over to the 6Z. This is how the 6Z is looking then for 23rd of December. No, it's not. So what are we doing here? We've got to go further on. So I thought I would go straight to the 6Z, but never mind. We'll just go in, we're going to go in 3 hourly steps, and we'll just push on through here. You talk about yourselves while I'm getting these loaded up. I should have got both sets loaded, shouldn't I? There we go. So 20th, 20th, 21st, 22nd. I'm zipping through this so quick because there's not be any precipitation until at least like Christmas Eve, really. So that's 23rd December. Right, we're there. We've got outbreaks of rain beginning to move in across Ireland on the 23rd of December. Of course, initially we pushed mild air through, so get some snow across Scotland, but it's just rain, really, most parts of the country on the 23rd of December. But then we begin to pull that colder air back into the northeast on Christmas Eve, so a little bit of wintry weather up there, more heavy rain out west on Christmas Christmas Eve, and then into Christmas Day. We've got some very wet weather down in the south, heavy rain there. Not turning to snow on the leading edge at that point, but we do get it eventually. So look at that. That's into the afternoon and evening of Christmas Day, when on the northern edge of that rain, there's quite significant snow forecast there for like the Midlands and Wales, and possibly up to Northern England as well. These are snow showers into Scotland, wetting the far southeast. But even there, on Christmas night, we see the rain turning to snow. These are pretty remarkable charts. Very, very rare to see this. As I say, it will probably not come off, and it is a do or die, because we could just finish up mild and wet with this pattern and never get the cold air in, you know. But at least we've got the charts to look at today anyway, and they are like looking genuinely wintry there around Christmas Day and Boxing Day. And then another go as we go between Christmas and New Year's, the Atlantic starts moving in, is more snow possibilities there. Excuse me once again. Right, let's have a GM. So that's the GFS output. Very, very interesting GFS today. Let's have a GEM. So this is an extended video, by the way, but there's so much to talk about, but I think it is warranted today. This is how the GEM is looking. High pressure, and if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. GEM has high pressure again over country on Saturday. High pressure ridges northwards as we go through into the middle of next week and starts to weaken. We've got cold air in over Scandinavia, low pressure coming in off the Atlantic. What's going to happen? Well, actually, and this is the problem with this pattern, we just get the minus 5 cells iceberg just to the east coast of Scotland, and then we lose it. And look at this, day 10, Christmas Day, in comes the Atlantic. Certainly no snow event there, just turning milder and wetter with the GEM midnight run. That's the do or die about this pattern. You know, it can go horribly wrong and we finish up mild and wet. This is how the ECM is looking. Again, high pressure is over the top of the country on Saturday, mainly dry. The high pressure ridges northwards as we go through the early part of next week, trying to become a northern blocking feature. Very cold air pushing southwards into Scandinavia. Again, the ridge begins to weaken as we go through the middle of next week. We've got high pressure centre between Greenland and Norway. Low pressure trying to come in from off the Atlantic Ocean. We are within cold air on the 23rd of December, so it's colder than like the GEM anyway, and probably the 6Z GFS actually, the 23rd of December. And again, this is Christmas Eve. This was quite interesting, this chart. Once more, we've got high pressure blocking to our northeast from Iceland to Norway. We've got low pressure trying to come in from off the Atlantic. That's the do or die scenario. Does the low pressure just roll in and we turn mild and wet? Or does that high pressure stand its ground? Won't back down. I'm going to stand my ground. Who's on that? I can't remember. But winds coming in from the southeast. If that happens, then we might get some snow on the leading edge of that area of low pressure. Look at the upper air temperatures. Cold in the northeast, minus 5 Celsius onto the east coast of the mild air. Really struggling to come in from the Atlantic. That's Christmas Day, day 10, when we have tumblewind into the south across western areas, so milder there. But if you look at the upper air temperatures, you can see that like the northern and eastern areas, there would still be the chances anyway of some snow on the leading edge of that area of low pressure. It really is on a knife edge, that is so finely balanced. And it's going to be exciting, but it's also going to be a nightmare, I think, this. But this is how the precipitation forecast is looking based on that ECM run. Mainly dry over the next few days until we get towards 22nd, 21st December, and then we start to bring some wet weather into southwest. That's Christmas Eve, where we've got heavy snow forecast for Wales and down into parts of southwest England and the southwest Midlands. Further southwest, it's mostly outbreaks of rain, and that's sort of dying a death as we go through into Christmas Day. That's midnight on Christmas Day as far as we go to. More heavy rain piling in from the west, so as that comes in, could we get an undercut of cold air and, you know, get some snow on Christmas Day? I wonder. These are the odds on the table within the ECM ensembles today for Christmas Day, 25th December. So 22 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure to our north and northeast. They're bringing in cold winds from the east. with that. We've got 15, including the control and the operational run. Again, with that blocking to the north, lower pressure to the south, winds in from an easterly direction. That's quite cold, and there is a bit of wintry potential, as we've explained with that. And then 14, showing what can go wrong with this. The high pressure is more towards the Canadian side of Greenland, and that allows low pressure coming off the Atlantic. That low pressure comes in and turns us wetter, definitely, but also milder, with winds in from the west. So that'll be a relatively mild and wet Christmas Day. That's the do or die with this, everyone. 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets us to the 30th of December. 21 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure blocking around Greenland and Iceland. Low pressure to our south and east. That's maintaining cold weather. Winds in from the east and the northeast. And with low pressure to south, there'll be the potential for snow as well. 16 are milder with low pressure out to our west. And in comes those southwesterly winds. And then 14 cold and dry with high pressure between Iceland and Scotland, winds in from the east. They could deliver snow showers to eastern and southeastern areas, but that's a drier but also cold option. So the overall trend seems to still be cold. Whether that's cold and unsettled and cold or dry remains to be seen. But there is clearly like a bit of a wobble that's going on in the ensemble data that the Atlantic might just overpower all of this cold air and blocking and just, you know, just give us a traditionally mild and wet Christmas. CFS finally beats the 500 millibar heights breakdown to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 15th to 21st of December. The coming week is dominated by high pressure, starts mild and turns cooler into next week. Week 2 will be the 22nd to the 28th of December over Christmas. High pressure goes north. Low pressure is to the south and east. Winds in from an easterly direction. CFS turns us cold and wintry over Christmas. Week 3 is the 29th of December to the 4th of January. Again, high pressure blocking around Greenland and Iceland. Low pressure to our south and east. Winds in from a cold east to northeasterly direction. Again, cold and wintry with that week into the new year. And same pretty cold really into week 4, prolonged cold spell with the CFS days of the 5th to the 11th of January. High pressure again is away to our north and northwest, and so winds will still be coming in from an easterly type direction. The temperature anomaly for week 1 starts off milder than average, 15th to 21st of December, but look at week 2 over Christmas, 29th of December to 28th. We go colder than average. Europe is absolutely plunged into the freezer as well. Week 3 is the 29th of December to 4th of January. That one also significantly colder than normal. Again, most of continental Europe is plunged into the freezer once more. A 2-week freeze up there for most parts of Europe. That does get to us, you know, as moderated because it's got to come over the North Sea. We're next to the Atlantic, so it's not as cold as it is here. As it is in like Poland, but nevertheless, that cold air does get to us for those 2 weeks. And then week 4, 5th through to the 11th of January, stays cold, not quite as cold in that week, but staying cold really. And, you know, most of Europe's still looking really cold as well there as well. Very, very, very interesting. We shall see what happens. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. You're actually able to see future web content. If you do, give us a sub. And tell your friends and family about GavsWeatherVids as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Nearly half an hour video, but I reckon it's warranted today. I think, you know, this is so unusual to be seeing the potential. It is only potential, you know, so it's probably around 10-15% chance that we might actually get a proper dumping of snow around Christmas Day. It's very, very rare to even have the possibility on the table for that to happen. But remember, it could go very, very badly wrong, this, and we might just finish up mild and wet, you know. So it is like that 50-50 that we said in the winter forecast. We said Christmas is a 50-50 between mild and cold, you know, and it really is that. So we shall see how it all plays out, and we're going to be doing a 20th Christmas update tonight. That might swing to mild and wet for Christmas. If it does, excuse me, if it does don't be too disappointed, because, you know, we might see this coming back in the next day or two. There's clearly a wobble that's going on in the mole output about this Christmas being cold. So in the end, you know, we might finish up mild and wet, we might finish up cold and dry, we might even finish up cold and snowy, and it's all to play for. So we shall see. Do keep checking back to the updates for more, but for this extended 10 to 14 day video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.